I'm Erin Murray. I'm the self-management facilitator for the Live Better to Feel Better program. And what our program is we offer self-management courses for people living with long-term health conditions. And actually, we've just recently been commissioned to also support those dealing with long COVID. There's a lot of similarities in symptoms of people with long COVID and long-term health conditions. Along with being the self-management facilitator, I'm also an expert by experience. So I live with long-term health conditions myself. And I think this is one thing that sets our course apart from others, is everybody involved with the course actually is an expert by experience. We all have long-term health conditions. And I think that's just a level of empathy that you just can't teach. It's being able to walk in someone else's shoes, to have that understanding of what it really means day in and day out to have to live with a long-term health condition and what that actually means to the impact that it has on your well-being and on your life. So I'm going to share with you a little bit more about our course, what we cover, and hopefully some techniques that we use as well. As people sign on, if you have any questions, please feel free to either use the chat function, raise your hand. I'm happy to take any questions that you might have. We might do some interactive activities as well. So we'll just see how it goes. But I'm going to share my screen with you now. So hopefully you'll be able to see this. Wonderful. So some of the topics that our course includes is we talk about the importance of getting a good night's sleep. We talk about managing pain and fatigue. We talk about decision making and problem solving. We talk about breathing for relaxation, being kind to oneself, better communication hints and tips, as well as working with your healthcare professional, and many other topics. It's a very interactive session. Since the pandemic, we have moved to a virtual online program. So we have content that's online that people get access to, but we also have weekly live sessions so that you're able to meet with other people that are also dealing with long-term health conditions and long COVID, just to hear about his experience, share things that work for each other. We always say with the courses, we learn so much from the people that are coming through it. And most people, in fact, I think everyone that has a long-term health condition, whether that's long COVID, ME, whatever it may be, they're already self-managing. They have to get through the day. So it's always wonderful to be able to share those techniques. The foundation of our course is the mind and body connection. And although this seems simple and it seems, that it just makes sense, it's actually relatively new as far as research, that our minds and our bodies are inherently connected. And what we think affects how we feel, and how we feel affects our thoughts. And we really talk about this a lot on the course. And what we notice is a lot of people, regardless of what condition they have, they tend to have shared symptoms. So they have that stress and anxiety, they have tense muscles, low mood, perhaps pain and fatigue, difficult emotions, and their physical health concerns. And this is regardless of what condition they might be dealing with. And so bringing this mind and body aspect into the forefront, we talk about breaking the symptom cycle. And through the techniques and the tips that we share on the course, this is really what we try to achieve. We try to get people to do positive actions so that it helps them to think more positively and to feel more positively. And if they're doing those things, they start to break down this symptom cycle. So instead of when we feel negative and when we're feeling in a lot of pain, when we're feeling a lot of fatigue, we tend to have these difficult emotions. We tend to get that low mood. We tend to get that shortening of breath and tensing up. You can feel your shoulders tense up. But if we start to do something positive, whether it be mindfulness techniques, whether it be, slowly introducing some activity or learning how to pace, which is another aspect that we talk about in the course, then again, we start to feel better within ourselves. We start to manage that pain and fatigue better, hopefully, also managing our mood as well in a better way. So one of the activities that we like to do with this is we like, to really thinking about this mind and body connection is everyone to have a moment just to think about something that you really love or someone that you really love or something that you're just grateful for. So if it's, just that it's a sunny day out, whatever it may be, or maybe you have a pet that you just, absolutely adore. Just taking a moment to close your eyes and literally just for a second, bring into your mind, but really fully bring in that image of the person or the thing that you really love or you're really grateful for. And what you might notice is just within those few seconds that your shoulders start to relax. You probably notice that you start to smile a little bit, and it just makes you feel a little bit better. And it's something that you can do anywhere, anytime. It takes no time at all, but just that simple act of thinking of something that you're grateful for or something that you love makes a difference to how you feel emotionally and physically. So this kind of summarizes the mind and body connection. And this was actually written by one of our expert by experiences. And it says, many people think the brain and body are two separate items when dealing with a long-term health condition, but not so. The mind and body are two parts of an intricate system. The mind and body need to work together as closely knit team to enable us to go about our daily lives with relative ease. Should either one of them go wrong, problems can arise. And one aim of the Live Better to Feel Better course is to try and restore the harmony between a person's mind and their body. When harmony is restored, you will have a new start point from where you can learn to live better with quality of life. Any good changes in your lifestyle will in turn make you feel better. And once you start moving in this forward direction, you can build upon your success at your own speed, a real winner. The course is not a cure-all, and there are no magic wands or fairy dust involved, but it can work remarkably well if you want it to. So far, the success rate has been good. You may be surprised to hear that the team of volunteers and tutors all live with a rich and varied collection of long-term health conditions and have all been through the self-management course to good effect and now live better to feel better ourselves. So that's one of our expert experiences on his experience going through the Live Better to Feel Better program. And I think that just speaks volumes of what self-management can do and to really give back that control over one's life. And we like to say what self-management does, it changes the narrative from suffering from a long-term condition to living with it and hopefully bringing back some of that quality of life to an individual. Another thing that we do in the course is we do next steps or goal achievement. And we do this in a really simple manner, breaking it down into small, achievable goals. And this is the form that we use. So we, have someone come up with their goal, and we do this every week. And like I said, small steps. We always say, you might not want to try something every day of the week, but perhaps try it for a few days on the week. And then how long is it going to take? How often will you do it? When do you plan to do it? And how confident do you feel about that? So one of the next steps that we had in the course this week was an individual, they're going to start trying to do some yoga. So they said they're going to do it 3 times a week, only 15 to 20 minutes, very, very gentle. They plan on doing it in the morning to really stretch themselves out and to help them throughout the day. And they felt not entirely, or just because they haven't done a lot of it before, but it's something that they felt would benefit them in both, their emotions and their physical flexibility and balance and strength. And they thought, again, if I do it in the morning, it's just going to give me that great start to the day. So these are the type of next steps and goals that we look at on the course as well. And that helps build people's confidence so that they can see, actually, when I've been able to achieve that, well, perhaps I can do some more as well. And it just helps you to start feeling that you're achieving something, that you've got confidence, and you are able to take back that control over your life. Another thing we do is we talk about gratitude. And we know that gratitude can do so much to help one's well-being. And this can be, doing a gratitude journal, thinking of just maybe 1 to 3 things in a day that you're grateful for. And even if you're not feeling well in yourself, by doing this, by thinking of a few things that you're grateful for, we know it starts to change the processes in your brain to actually start to have those good hormones, those good chemicals starting in your body so that you start to feel good. even if you're not feeling well, the process of just sitting down and doing this starts to make a difference for you. So being grateful really does have a lot of good benefits. As I mentioned, we also talk about the importance of sleep. And this is an area that we're learning a lot more about now, but there's different things that we can do to actually promote sleep. And when you have a long-term health condition, it often affects one's sleep. It's often difficult to get a good night's sleep. And especially if you have pain involved with your condition, that tends to be when people are actually dealing with pain the most. Sometimes they have to move around quite a lot, but there are a few things that we can do to help that. So we talk about some of the 7 steps that the Sleep Council advises, which is making sure that you set your bedroom up in a way that's going to promote sleep. Also, thinking about your bed, changing your mattress if you need to. I know I'm guilty of this. I'm probably due for a change, but they do say about every 7 to 8 years. There's lifestyle things that we can do. Being more active, not having caffeine late in the day, dealing with stress and worry. And this is some of the tips and techniques that we talk about in the course, some mindfulness techniques, breathing for relaxation. These are all things that can help us get better sleep. We also talk about nutrition for health on the course, and we signpost to other courses as well that help that. And being active and doing so in a way where you're not setting yourself back, but you're just moving a bit more. And then, as I said, relaxation techniques as well. So all of these different things can help us to get a better night's sleep. And if we're getting a better night's sleep, we're going to feel better in ourselves. We also talk about positive emotional health and well-being. This is a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential and can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to her or his community. And I think when you're dealing with a long-term health condition, it can feel very isolating. But by getting back some of that emotional health and that well-being, taking back control over your life, you start to feel that productiveness, but you also get that meaning back into your life. And that's so important for people. To have purpose in life really makes a difference to our well-being overall. And when we feel low and when we feel stressed or anxious, it not only affects our emotional well-being, but it affects us physically as well. So these are some of the signs and symptoms that we see with long-term health conditions. And it runs the gamut, as you can see. It can be, digestion issues, increased blood pressure. If we are dealing with pain and fatigue, that can become worse. As I mentioned, it can disturb our sleep. We can have changes in our appetite. It affects us cognitively as well with poor concentration, memory issues, and we can have a lack of interest in the things that we once, really enjoyed. And social withdrawal. So we know being connected with others actually promotes well-being, but if we're not feeling well in ourselves, sometimes, we just don't feel like we want to get out there and be social. We talk about, as I said, breathing for relaxation. And when we talk about that, we really talk about that diaphragmatic breathing. And with all the tips and tools that we talk about on the course, we always say, practice them when you're feeling good in yourself. And that way, when you're not feeling so good, you have them at hand. They're almost second nature to you. And what Live Better to Feel Better tries to do is we try to build up your toolbox. We try to give you all these different tools and tips and techniques that you can use so that when you are feeling a bit low or when you are feeling in pain and fatigue, you can pull out what tool you think is going to work best for you. And not every tool and tip works for everyone. But what you have is that toolbox that you can, grab from and that will help you in the future and, going forward. So not just in the class, something that's going to be able to help you throughout your life going forward as you manage your condition. So with this, we always say, and if you want to do this with us, you can, but diaphragmatic breathing, and we say it takes practice. It's not a natural way of breathing. It's not how we're used to, but if you put a hand on your stomach right above your belly button and one on your chest, and it's just slowly breathing in, holding it for a second and breathing out. And what you really want to do is you want to feel that breath in and out from your belly and not just from your chest. And that's allowing your body to get more oxygen. And if your body's getting more oxygen, that's going to help so many different things. So breathing in, hold, and breathing out. And those of you that have smartwatches, you'll notice within seconds, your pulse rate will start to come down. If you were to check your blood pressure after breathing in this way, your blood pressure comes down. Again, it's such a simple technique, but it takes practice, but it has huge dividends on what it does for our minds and for our bodies. You'll probably notice your shoulders relaxed a little bit. Hopefully your neck relaxed a little bit. We only did that for about a second, but if you were to do that for a couple minutes, think about the benefits that that would have for you. But it does take practice, and if you are doing it at first, some people may feel a bit dizzy. So being in a comfortable chair, making sure you really ease yourself into it is the best way for that. So this is from Sarah Stewart Brown. She's a professor of public health at the University of Warwick, and she explains what well-being and happiness is. So feeling happy is part of mental well-being, but that's not all of it. Feelings of contentment, enjoyment, confidence, and engagement with the world we're all part of is also part of that, as well as self-esteem and confidence. So is the feeling that you can do the things that you want to do and have good relationships, which bring joy to you and to those around you. Good mental well-being does not just mean that you never experience feelings or situations that are difficult, but it means that you start to build up that resiliency to cope when times are tougher than usual. Resiliency is the capacity to recover quickly from these difficulties. And another thing that she says, and I think this is great, is nobody can give well-being to you. It's you that has to take action. Think about well-being as something that you do rather than simply something that you are. The more that you put into it, the more you're likely to get out of it. And in the course, we talk about the 5 steps to well-being. And these are in no particular order, but some people, it's useful for them to think about it in the way of clang. So that's a helpful way to remember it. So it's being connected to others. So that connectedness, that social aspect. It's learning, keep on learning. So even going through the Live Better to Feel Better course, we tell people, well, you're already doing that. You're already learning new things. It's being active. And again, this doesn't mean necessarily going to the gym. It's just finding an activity that you enjoy, that you can incorporate into your everyday life. It's moving more. And if working at a desk, it might just be standing up for 5 minutes every hour. It might be gardening, whatever it may be that's going to have meaning for you. And then it's taking notice. So this is kind of that mindful aspect, being present in the moment. And this, again, can be very, very simple. It can be as you're out going for a walk, just taking notice of the bird song around you, the warmth of the sun, the sound of the leaves in the trees and as they move by, and just the smell in the air of the freshness. There might be dew on the ground that you can smell. It's just being present and really thinking about the here and the now, so that we're not living in the past and we're not thinking about the future, which we don't have control over. And again, with physical activity, we know that it's good for us, but it's that slowly building it up. So, there's a lot of good benefits to physical activity, such as increased self-esteem, better mood, lower risk to health concerns, lowering our stress levels. So different ways to start being active are not saying, just doing something that is enjoyable to you, but it's just getting up, moving a bit more, maybe reducing the time on television, on the computer, or playing video games, breaking up sedentary activities by going for a short walk, finding out what's available in your local area. We also talk about guided imagery on the course and the benefits to that as far as, both reducing physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, but just, being kind to yourself as well, relaxing. So hopefully this will work. I'm going to try and play this. It's a short guided imagery, but first, just take a moment, get comfortable in your seat. Make sure that you're, in a position where you can really relax. If you want to close your eyes, that's helpful. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. You might want to just focus on a particular spot. So mindfulness is about being aware of the present moment without being concerned about the experiences which are occurring, just accepting them. So as we sit comfortably in our chair, becoming aware of our breath. If you can, breathe in through your nose and out again, bringing your awareness to the feelings as you breathe in and out, the changing patterns of physical sensations in your lower abdomen as the air moves. Try not to control your breathing in any way. Simply let the breath be. Notice how it feels for the air to be flowing through your lungs. If your mind wanders away from the focus of the breath, this is perfectly okay. It's simply what minds do. If you notice that your attention has shifted, gently escort your awareness back to focusing on the changing patterns of your breathing. Allow your awareness of the breath to expand through your whole body while still being aware of your breathing. Change your primary focus so that you become aware of the sense of your body as a whole, as if your whole body were breathing. Be aware of the sensations that arise where your body makes contact with the chair, the feelings of touch, pressure, or contact of your feet on the floor. You may find your mind will repeatedly wander away. Whenever you notice your attention drift, congratulate yourself for noticing this and refocus on the sensations in your body. Bring your attention to your ears and the sounds around you. There's no need to search for particular sounds. Instead, open your mind as best you can so that it's receptive to the sounds around you. Sounds that are close, sounds that are far. Whenever you notice your awareness no longer focused on sounds, gently acknowledge where your mind has moved to and return to the awareness back to the sounds. Allow thoughts to come into your mind. Let them drift in and then back out. Don't let them concern you. Know they are there. Don't dwell on them. Accept them and let them drift away again. Observe them like a passing cloud which floats away. If an emotion rises within you, simply observe it. Do not label it. Just acknowledge its presence. Observe and let go. Gently return back to your breath. Simply be as you exhale. Observe, accept, detach, relax. Turn your attention back to your breathing, noticing the rise and fall in your chest and abdomen. When you feel ready, begin to focus your attention on the room which you're in. Slowly open your eyes, look around, noticing what you can see in the present moment. You may want to wriggle your feet and your toes, move your arms and legs, and gently stretch your body out. So hopefully that was good for you. And hopefully you notice with that, when we talk about the thoughts and we talk about the feelings arising, this is what mindfulness can give us. It gives us a step back so that we know our thoughts are there. They're always going to be there, but we don't have to attach emotion to every single thought that comes in. And the same thing with our feelings. We can notice our feelings, but we don't have to allow that to actually affect us necessarily in a physical manner. So we can notice, oh yeah, there's stress. I recognize you. There's anxiety. I recognize you. But we don't have to allow that to tense us up and to start to feel that strain that we would. So by doing these techniques that we talk about in the Live Better to Feel Better program and thinking back to our symptom cycle, as we go through this, you can see that it helps us to break that symptom cycle. It helps us to deal with our difficult emotions, to deal with our pain and fatigue, our stress and anxiety, some of those physical health concerns, as well as the mental health issues and the low mood that we experience. So that's just a really short taster of what the Live Better to Feel Better course is about, some of the techniques that we talk about. Are there any questions at this time?
I did a very similar course because I have a very long-term condition, which is progressive, some 5 or 6 years ago. I think the government introduced this at that time, so I attended it in Herefordshire, and it was all around the county. Very similar in relation to the content itself.
Was it the expert patient program?
Correct, that was the one. Yeah.
So that's what our course was. We've now, with research and other things, we've adapted it, and it's now the Live Better to Feel Better program for Gloucester. But that was the course, yes, absolutely.
Oh, right, okay. I thought it looked familiar in a way, but yes. But very, very good. It's a very, very good course. Having been on the last one as well. And it's great also for you working with different people there, socializing as well and understanding their journeys as well individually, which is really powerful.
Absolutely. It's so... It's good to hear sometimes that you're just not alone, that there's other people that are dealing with things and they understand you.
Absolutely. That's great.
Karen?
Yes, Karen.
Yeah. Do you have any easy read resources?
So yes, we do. So sometimes while people are waiting to get on the course, I've put together a signposting document. So I send that to them. So I can send that to Simon if he wants to send that out. That's got some good things on there. And I'll also just have a look to see if there's other things on there. But yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of information out there about self-management. But if people are, dealing with a long-term health condition or they're dealing with long COVID, they can self-refer to our course. You don't need to have a referral, but you can self-refer as well. But like I said, it is helpful sometimes to have that additional support with other people that are also dealing with it. But absolutely, we'll send some details out about quick things that we can do for ourselves to help ourselves every day.
Now that'd be really useful because we can put it in our directory, which is the A to Z at the back of the 5-day program, so people can look at more information and where they can obtain more information from.
Absolutely.
And also resources to go with it, which is really important, like YouTube, PowerPoints. It'd be good to share your PowerPoint if you don't mind as well, if people are interested. If you're able to send that on to Karen or myself, that'd be great.
Yep, absolutely, can do that.
Thank you, Erin. That's really great. And
no problem. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you, Erin.